Welcome everybody to Act 2 of Extra Time. If you missed yesterday's act, I'm Jason, the producer, and I'm sitting in for Greg Lawless. Today we're talking about the Western Conference. Shep, Chivas USA, on top of the Western Conference by far, huh?
Unbelievable. And you know what? They're still under my radar screen. I don't know how they've done it. I give Preki a tremendous amount of credit. For me, focal point of that team is Ante Razov. I haven't had Ante Razov, but yes. Thornton has been tremendous in goal. I'd argue that Jesse Marsh and Nagamura now, yeah, best pair defensively in the midfield. And Nagamura is getting forward and scoring goals.
I think that's been big for them. Sasha Kljestan, he's starting to play well. He's not really producing in terms of goals and assists, although he had an assist this past weekend. I think, for Chivas USA, my question would be, are they too hot too early in the MLS season where it's going to tail, when you're getting into the stretch run in the playoffs?
Yeah, normally I'd agree with that theory, but I think if you're Preki and Chivas, they're probably saying to themselves, you know what? We really are not playing at our best. We're not dominating teams. We're getting the victories. We're squeaking out. We're defending. We're getting a goal. So I'm sure they're thinking, you know what? We're really not playing the best we can, and we're still getting unbelievable results.
Yeah. The surprise contenders in the West, Seattle, after 3-0 start, they're 1-2-2 in their last 5 games. A red card in each didn't help with the results, Shep. Is it time to panic for Seattle, or do you think they're okay?
Yeah, no panic there. I think what we're seeing, Jason, is the first sign of really an expansion team. They came out of the gate. They looked like a team had been in the league for 5 years, but players still have to get acclimated to the system, to Siggy Schmidt. Montero sat that last game out with a red card. Riley gets, mental mistake to get that red card. When Lundberg, Nate Jakwa, Freddie Montero, Alonso's done great. Casey Keller in goal. They're good.
Yeah, I think when you say that, maybe you point their weakness might be their depth a little bit. When they have their full lineup, they're definitely something to be reckoned with. And I think in this past weekend, it really showed. They went down a man, and you couldn't tell. I mean, they were still attacking. They were still going at LA. And I wonder if that says more about Seattle than it does LA, or vice versa. But LA, scratching out ties, getting results.
It's a good point. But again, I like both of those teams, and I like the LA Galaxy now. This team, the Galaxy, was horrific in the beginning of the year in terms of giving up goals left and right, 17 seconds into a game. Right. Bruce Arena knows what it takes to win, and first you've got to get organized defensively. Berhalter now settled in the central part of the defense. Donovan Ricketts has been great in goal. I think goal scoring still an issue for them.
Right.
Who's going to help Landon Donovan?
Definitely. I mean, it's almost like they played that Colorado game where they gave up the early goal. They ended up losing 3-2, and it seems that since then they've shored up the defense. They're playing all these low-scoring, close games. I mean, the 2-2 game in Salt Lake, it was 2-2, but it was 1-0 until the 90th minute. They're playing close games, but it's almost like they're sacrificing their offense a little to be as organized as they are defensively.
Well, again, I like both the teams, Seattle and LA. Bruce Arena has to be happy that they're getting results, points on the road.
Right. I think one of the teams who's getting results right now, Houston Dynamo, undefeated in their last 4 games, and bigger than that, they haven't given up a goal.
Yeah, ridiculous. And that's Dominic Kinnear knows exactly what he's doing with that team. I don't even think Pat Onstad has not been tested that much during this run. I think Cameron has made a great adjustment. Used to be a striker, now he's a central defender. Everybody's helping out. Ricardo Clark in the defensive part of the midfield. So they're a very good team playing well now.
And I think a big part of them playing well now is Stuart Holden really starting to take charge of that offense and move them forward. He's got a goal and 2 assists in the last 3 games, all wins. So, I mean, that bodes well for them. The team tied with Houston in the standings right now is Colorado, who had a big win against Salt Lake, and then they go to their bye week. Is that, unlucky for them that the bye week comes at the wrong time?
Yeah, Jason, I think it is. If you're Colorado, you're going to rationalize that we need the time off. Some players nicked up, tired. We'll get a chance to rest. But Gary Smith has put together a very good team. They're on a run. They're playing well. Connor Casey, obviously off to a good start. Cummins has been, a good tandem player.
He's a threat. Yeah, perfect.
So Colorado, you want to get right back on the field, go get results.
Yeah, and the team that they beat in Salt Lake had a tough week. They lost that game. They got knocked out of Open Cup. Then they got 2 games this week to restore order, so to speak. And They have that heartbreaking tie to LA, you know, with the last-minute goal to McGee, and then they lose a nail-biter to Chivas. So they really didn't do what they would have hoped to do this week.
Jason Kreis, I think one of the best-dressed managers, coaches in the league. I thought he was going to rip his, you know, pretty suit and tie and shirt. He's got to be frustrated because he has put together an attitude, a mentality that's winning, a winning attitude in Salt Lake. They have some issues. You know, Morales has to be consistent as the playmaker. Movsisian has been getting chances, but for me, not getting the goal scoring finishes.
Yeah, he's got to put those in. Speaking of teams that aren't scoring goals, FC Dallas and San Jose, the last two teams in the West, not much good to say about them. The bright side for Dallas is they have 2 home games in a row after a tough road stretch. I think for San Jose, the good news is they have a week to get themselves organized on a bye.
Let's talk about San Jose. San Jose has to get Huckabee back on the field because we saw what he did for them last year. Had the ability to run and break down defenses. They're missing that for sure. So I don't think they're a bad team. They're getting horrendous results. Yeah. Dallas also. I just think there's a lack of balance there. They just got further bad news. Dario Sala out another 4 weeks from the prior knee surgery.
Right.
But I don't think Ray Bursa has been the problem. I think the problem has been consistency defending, consistency in the midfield.
Well, that's it for the Western Conference today. Tomorrow we're going to look at the weekend's action. It's #1 in the East against #1 in the West. Big game out in LA.